So it's really unfortunate what has happened to Andy Warski and his show. A lot of this, I think, could obviously have been avoided, but this is what happens when you listen to people like your audience, when you listen to people who call themselves your friends and stuff, and use that as manipulation, when they're, hey man, as your friend, I don't really like the direction where your show is going, and I think you should do this and do all this stuff that you were doing before because this is what I like, and this is what I think would be best for you. But because he listened to that, he slowly and slowly destroyed his show. It started off with first pretty much Baked Alaska. Right, at first they were making fun of Baked Alaska because of his in real life streams, and I felt some pity for Baked Alaska because I was like, just let him be a retard, let him do his thing. Everybody doesn't need to kind of dogpile on him and make fun of him and start giving him advice how he should run his show and all this shit. But then, obviously, his response, he was very bad to that, and then he kind of dug his own grave and made it much worse for himself. But this definitely whittled off a chunk of Andy's audience right there. Probably a couple hundred people that would have watched, would have donated to his show. And then there was the whole JF thing. Or even before that, there was the whole kind of fallout with Sargon that, granted, yeah, Sargon's overly sensitive. He can't take a joke and shit. But there was a lot of unnecessary tension, I think, between the whole blood sports community and them that also alienated another large chunk of the audience that would have watched, would have potentially donated. So there was that, and then there was the fallout with JF, which he listened to a lot of people who are nowhere to be found now. A lot of people who are like, oh, I think you should go get rid of him because you're going too far right, and I don't like the direction of your show. I don't really watch it anymore. All this shit, but it's like, where are they now? His last show, he had like a few hundred viewers live. So it's like, where are all these people now? They're gone, right? So they were just blowing smoke up his ass, telling him bullshit, just so he would destroy his own show. And granted, I'm not saying everybody was like that. I'm sure a lot of people legitimately didn't like JF, didn't like him on the show, thought he was making it worse. I'm not saying everybody was trying to destroy it, right? Clearly, that's not the case for everybody. But, him listening to people is what fucked him over. And granted, yes, JF does have a large ego, and he is overly sensitive, and he doesn't take criticism very well and stuff. So, he kind of helped Andy fire him and want to fire him by going behind his back and being the way JF is, But ultimately, that once again alienated another huge chunk of people who watched Andy's show and who would have donated, given money and stuff. And then there's also the whole thing with Tonka that ultimately I think was created, that was started because of people flagging their show and then forcing him to go to failures, then forcing him to go to Andy's show, and slowly that seceding of power to other people eventually created the rift that ultimately destroyed that show and alienated a bunch of other people from Andy's show and from Tonka's show because they just don't know how to deal with business. They don't know how to do this shit behind closed doors, and they decided to try to monetize some of this drama or whatever because there wasn't too much else going on. And then clearly that was not a good idea for the long term of the show. So, all these people being alienated is why there's 400 people watching it now. And there's also another group of people, probably a couple hundred, even a few hundred, that don't watch, that don't hate watch Andy anymore, because it's like, a lot of people like David Sharat and all these other people, they would hate watch the show and try to find things in it. Then they would make videos about it and all this shit. They maybe even some of them would donate so they could say something snarky or whatever. But that's just more money in his pocket. So there's thousands of people that could have been watching the show if just certain things were handled better, if he didn't listen to a lot of the ears, I mean, a lot of the voices in his ears, and if he would have just kept doing what he was doing, and that would have, at least he wouldn't have alienated a lot of people. And, there's at least a lot of lessons to be learned from this. I don't know what Andy could do to recoup what he had. I'm not sure. I don't have the audience he does. I don't feel like I'm in position to give him advice when it comes to something like that, but I think I was definitely able to see a lot of what led to this ultimate destruction and stuff. And most people can see what led to it, but I hope the best for Andy. I hope his channel succeeds. I hope he finds, I don't know, maybe he needs new co-hosts, maybe he doesn't, maybe he wants to add some structure to the show. I don't know, but whatever he does, hopefully he succeeds. I want him to succeed, and all the best. That's all I pretty much had to say. If you like my content, subscribe and have a good day, and also go check out Derek Rants, and he's a YouTuber. I'll put his link in the description below, and follow me on Twitter and BitChute. That's about all. So take it easy.